My name's Daniel Eggington and I am travelling on bicycle from northern Sweden to Birmingham, UK. Day 8 of what looks to be a very nice day. This castle, don't know what on earth it was used for back in the day. It's probably like the last stand for some old historical figure. Little trail, it literally just looks like the state in the UK. As we are in central Sweden now, heading into southern Sweden. There's no ice on the road, which is making the journey a lot more comfortable and a lot more speedy. So into a town called Kumla shortly, and then we'll head off to a town called Motala for the end of the day. Kumla, where we'll be in the next hour, is originally the hub of shoemaking in Sweden. It weren't really a town until I think the 1940s, early 80s. The 1940s, I'm sure it was. Every little spot in these little villages, as remote as they are, all over Europe from what I've seen, they've always got a little church of some sort, and that's the history, I think, of when Christianity took over. But it definitely weren't Christian forever. So in history, there's a lot of pagans, and but yeah, when they come over to Christianise everything, that's why there are so many small little towns and villages, and each one of them have a small little church in. Went into Lidl, and they sell the exact same things. And right over there is the shoe factory. Very exciting. On the first break of the day, and 15 miles in of day 8 of cycling from Arctic Sweden, North Pole. So as we get into Motala, 46 miles I think I've done today. Which weren't too bad, to be fair. There's a bit of a history with it. Just loads of industrial. I think the centre of Sweden is just a lot of industrial stuff, historically. But I think Motala, where I am now, has been the centre of it since probably, I don't know, mid-1800s, and built a massive canal called the Gotthard Canal, which connected the east and west coast of Sweden. So that's why it's been such a big hub in Swedish history. But yeah, it's quite a big town, and I'm going to find somewhere and get settled down for the night and plan the next 2 days now.